for us today. Okay, welcome, billionaires. This is another edition of the Growth Factory, and we have been discussing the billion-dollar operating position you and your business for the billion-dollar mark. And the focus for today is why customers don't pay, stay, or refer, and the value engine design that works. Why customers don't pay, stay, or refer, and the value engine design that works. The objective of our conversation today is for you to build something that the market cannot ignore. You have that powerful product, you have that powerful idea. Is there a way you can process it and present it in a way that the market cannot ignore you? That is what we are talking about today. And how do you do that? It is by designing your value engine. You must understand what value means to your target audience, to your customers, right? And I believe that at the end of our conversation today, you will gain clarity on how value compounds into revenue. Let me say that again. At the end of our conversation today, you will gain clarity on how value compounds into revenue. And I believe that this is one session you don't want to miss. So as you go on, please subscribe to the channel. It doesn't buy, just click and turn on the notification so that you always be notified when we share our videos, right? So I'm super excited to be with you today again on the Growth Factory. And I'm also super excited to be a part of your growth, to be a part of your journey. Remember, it's a 10-year sprint. So don't even think of it, oh, when is this thing going to work? Just keep adding one block at a time. That is how you build a tower. It's one block at a time. If you don't give up, if you continue building, trust me, it will all make sense, right? So what is this growth factory thing all about, right? Our vision is to catalyze a new generation of visionary African entrepreneurs building 1,000 billionaires by 2035, right? This vision started like play last year, and we're asking ourselves, what are we going to do differently? And this is something that means a lot to us. Our vision is to build 1,000 billionaires by 2035. And I am hoping and believing that you are going to be a part of it. And that is why you stumbled on this video. It is not by accident that you stumbled on this video. So please go over it again and again. Check the other videos we have done for your evolution. Very critical, right? So our mission is to equip MSMEs and emerging entrepreneurs with transformative knowledge, strategic tools, growth capital, and a supportive community that enables them to build sustainable, globally competitive businesses, right? So we're going to be empowering you. We have a community we are building, forming, so you can also see the link in the description of this video on how you can be a part of the community, right? It's all evolving, but like I usually tell our guys, somewhere along the line, we're going to be on a jet speed and it's going to be very massive. So for people who join us early, they're going to be enjoying some resources, especially in this month of March, right? We are engaging a community manager, because the work was, technically becoming too much for all right. So once again, I say a big welcome to you. So what are we discussing today, guys? So we're going to look at why your value fails. It's not that you don't have value, but your value is not delivering in the market. Why is it failing? So we're going to press the reset button. We're going to start with that. Then we also look at product market fit. How do you diagnose? How do you know if your product fits the market? How do you diagnose? That is very critical. That's another point you don't want to miss, right? So how do you define your core offer? How do you refine your core offer? We're going to discuss that in this video. value proposition stack. How do you move from one level of value to another such that you keep people in the loop and they don't even know why they are always coming around? So you want to stick around until we get to that point, right? Or you can skip the video to that part, right? We also want to look at competitive advantage mapping. How do you map your business for you to get that competitive advantage? And we'll close with the offer ladder design. How do you create an offer ladder, right? So this is Power Packs. I'm looking forward to our live workshops where I'll be able to break these things down step by step, hold your hand through it, and help you to design these things. But if you are very attentive and you're very inquisitive and you are someone who likes to explore like me, there are things you can actually do yourself. But just in case it looks too much for you, just hold on, keep following us. When we have our workshops, you will definitely be the first to know about it. So that is why you should subscribe to our channel. So let's look at this, right? Why value fails? Why value fails? Fact, most startups don't have a marketing problem. They have a weak value problem. The problem is not that you are not doing your marketing well. You are doing your marketing. You are selling, you are promoting on Facebook, on YouTube, on everywhere, right? You're using WhatsApp adverts and all of that. Those marketing opportunities, you're taking advantage of all the platforms. But the question is, why is it that you are not having the kind of sales that you expect you should have? Very important. You have a weak value problem, right? Your value, how you communicate your value to the market is weak. And once your communication is weak, trust me, every other thing would not matter, right? So, because when your value is weak, what it means is that you require a lot of persuasion. You have to keep whining people, keep begging them, keep appealing to them, and you realize that you are wasting a lot of energy trying to get people to patronize you. And why is that? It's very simple, because your value communication is weak. When your value communication is weak, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to have people to decide on for your business. You're going to, while your weak communication is pushing people away, if you have a strong value communication, then it pulls people towards you. It's attractive. When your value communication is clear, then it's really attractive. You are able to draw people to yourself, right? So if the truth is that if customers need too much convincing, that means that your value engine is underpowered. That means that your communication is not clear. They can't see exactly how your business is going to be solving a problem for them, right? They can't see it. And that is why you have to keep talking and talking and pushing and pushing. And today I am I believe very strongly that someone will be delivered from wasted effort. Yeah, you'll be delivered from wasted effort. No more struggling around your communication, because we are building your value engine. And I hope that helps someone. So let's look at the product market fit diagnostics, right? Now, this is very critical, because sometimes we think, oh, um, people are buying. But the question is, what are they buying? How much are they buying? You remember we said something last year. So I said last year, last week. If you missed that last week video, you need to go check for it, right? So we said something last week that the problem is not that you don't have revenue. The problem is that you don't have a system that ensures that you have retained earnings. So when you look at what has come through your business and what has gone out, you realize that you are spending a lot. Your CAC, or what some people call CCA, your cost of customer acquisition is so high your customer acquisition cost, some people call it CCA, some call it CAC, right? Your customer acquisition cost is so high that you spend a lot of money trying to get people to buy. And when people eventually buy, either they don't stay or they don't refer. So if customers are not staying, that means there's something wrong with your communication, meaning that you have to always go out to go and get customers, new customers every time you need to make a sale. There's a problem with that system. When your system is right, which is what we're going to be discussing today, when your system is right, if a customer enters into your loop, they will always want to hang around. And after a while, they will start talking to other people about your business. Why? Because you have created a product market fit. Now, a fit exists when these three things are in place. Number one, when customers feel pain intensely. When customers feel pain intensely, the challenge with many of us is that we are trying to sell a product that customers don't feel that they need. They don't feel it. Now, let me tell you the truth. People make more feeling decisions than more thinking decisions. Let me say that again. People make more feeling decisions than more thinking decisions. I know I've shared this once or twice on the Growth Factory, where I said, right, you want to buy something, probably there's a kiosk down your street. Let's use toothpaste, for example. You want to buy toothpaste, just toothpaste. There's a kiosk down your street where you can buy the toothpaste. But you see yourself going 3, 4, 5 streets away, sometimes even driving to a store somewhere to go and buy the same toothpaste that you could just buy a few blocks away from your house. Question, is that logical? It's not logical. It doesn't make sense, but it makes feeling. It is the feeling the person gets when they walk into that store that will make them to drive all the way to a store to get ordinary toothpaste that they can get down their streets. So do customers feel the pain you are trying to solve, the pain you are trying to remove? Do the customers feel the pain enough? Is it a pain for them? You know, there was this business I saw, was it sometime last year, about, I think it was even Dangote in partnership with some guys who said they were going to be delivering fuel, like all these delivery trucks, right? So you just have to call them, then they bring fuel to your house, right? So I was on a platform and we were diagnosing this business proposal. It looks good, but how many people would actually wait till fuel completely dries up in their car? I don't think there is anyone who will do that. So you have to wait in your house and wait for someone to come and deliver fuel to you and fill your tank in your house. It's not looking like a feasible business model, right? Because the average person who has a car knows that once the fuel gets to a particular level, wisdom behoves that you drive in to the nearest filling station and top your fuel. That is common sense, right? So waiting at home until somebody brings fuel for you, I don't think that is convenience, because you are going to go out anyway, and there are a lot of fuel stations around where you can easily just, drive in and get your tank filled up, right? So I think I stopped seeing the thing after a while, because really it's not a pain that people feel that much. That business can sell when there is fuel scarcity. When there is fuel scarcity and people have to queue for 3 hours, 4 hours, at the fuel station, then you can just call. So that is going to be a seasonal business, not a regular everyday business that I am going out. I can just stop by 2 minutes and fill my and fill up my tank instead of waiting, for someone, a dispatch rather, to bring fuel to me. That waiting time is already a waste of time. The time I will use to make the order and wait for the order to come, I'm going out. I will just drive and branch the nearest fuel station, right? So do customers feel the pain intensely? Number two, does your solution remove that pain meaningfully? Look at what I just described. It's not meaningful. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for me to wait in my house to order for fuel and I'm still going out all the same. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. If what they are doing is to feel maybe in a place where people don't have power, they have power issues, right? And then they are coming to fill maybe your generating plant, your generating set, your power generating set. Maybe that will make sense, but not for cars. So you want to ask yourself, so I may not want to go out. Somebody just comes, fill my tank, I pay the person, I'm good because I am at home. That may make sense, but not for cars. Not for cars that will go out all the same. So does your solution remove the pain meaningfully? Is it meaningful? Does it make sense? Then number three, will the people be disappointed if they don't see you again? If I begin to order for that business and I say, come and deliver to my house, will I feel disappointed if I cannot get this guy again to deliver to my house? I don't think so. Why will I not be disappointed? Because I have options. Why? Because I have options. So think about it as you are designing your product, as you are designing your service. What pain exactly are you targeting? And number two, how are you removing that pain meaningfully? How are you removing that pain meaningfully? And number three, how replaceable are you? What are the options that the people have, right? Because if they have meaningful options that are probably cheaper, that are probably easier, more accessible than yours, do you think that if they don't see you, they will miss you? I don't think they will miss you, right? So think about it. So let's look at some tests that will help you. Now, this, if anyone knows me very well, you know that I derive pleasure in creating tests, and help. But I'm not going to be able to break these things down for us today. It's going to be for the master class. But things you can learn, very powerful. So you need to check the intensity of the pain. How intense is the pain? Is the problem urgent or optional? Is the problem urgent or optional? Whatever business you're doing, you're selling insurance. What are you selling? Do people feel that it is urgent or it is optional? If it is optional, it's going to be very difficult for you to sell. So what do? You need to then be able to create a story that makes that problem urgent, or you target a group of people, a market niche that feel that that problem is urgent and important for them, that this is something they must deal with. One of the products very most difficult to sell under insurance is life insurance, right? It's one of the products most difficult to sell, especially to individuals. If you sell to a company, they can easily just do the insurance on behalf of their staff. But for an individual to buy life insurance, there are sets of people when they are getting to the twilight of their age that begin to think like, oh, I need to do something for the next generation. Those people see life insurance as urgent and important. But for a 20-year-old that still believe that their life is ahead of them, they may not see it as urgent or important. So what is the intensity of the pain? Number two, replacement test. Are customers switching from something else? Now, what were they doing before you came on the scene? Who was servicing that need before you came to the scene? Are they switching from a customer to meet you? You need to understand who are they switching from and why are they switching from that person? If it's a blue ocean, voila. Blue ocean means that either you are the first person to step into that, you're the first person to create that, or there has never been any, or there's never been anyone, or very few people are offering that service. That's a blue ocean. There are very few. The competition is very few. So how easy is it to replace you? So think about it. Are they switching from somebody else to meet you, right? And if they are switching, who are they switching from? And why are they switching? Very critical, because that will help you to know how to retain them if you know why they are switching. Number three, the willingness to pay test. Are they paying comfortably or they are hesitating? Now, one of the things that I believe every business owner must be willing to do is to be able to state their price and stay with it. Be willing to state your price. Be comfortable to state your worth and stay with it. Not everyone will appreciate what you are doing and will be able to pay the value that you truly worth. But all the same, you must be willing and ready to you must be comfortable enough to state what you are worth and allow the customers to decide. That is why you need to communicate your value effectively so that it is the people who appreciate the value that you bring to the market that will be looking for you. So are they willing to pay or they are hesitating? That is very, very critical, right? Then number four is the referral signal test. Are customers voluntarily recommending? If you truly meet their need in a way that removes the pain, they will naturally talk to other people about them. Now, we do this a lot in Africa. I'm sorry for all African people, especially our mothers, right? When somebody uses a drug, a medication, probably somebody has pain and they buy a particular analgesic and they feel better. When they start talking to someone and the person says, oh, I'm having this pain, what do you think the person will naturally do? They'll say, I tried this analgesic and it works. Maybe you should try it too, right? So when you have solved a problem for someone significantly, chances are that they will also recommend you to another person. And that is why you need to understand the pain, the exact pain you are taking away from your client. Then the retention signal test. Are they staying without constant incentives? If you have to keep giving them something, you are giving them maybe cash, you're giving them bonuses, you're giving them coupons. If you have to keep giving something for them to stay, that means that the day you stop giving them, they will leave. So are they staying without constant incentives? If you have to keep giving them something for them to stay, that means that the retention signal is weak. It means that your retention capacity is weak, it's not sustainable. So we've talked about why your value may not be delivering, and we also talk about the product market test. Good. I believe you have been, having fun and enjoying this conversation so far, right? So one of the exercises I will give you right away, right? So one of the exercises I will give you right away is for you to think about, let me go back to that slide, right? Think about this, the pain, the replacement, the willingness to pay, the referral signal, retention signal. Now, these are all very comprehensive tests from research, right? Very comprehensive tests. But let's just take it from the surface level right now and think about it. Which one of it do you think you are strongest in, and which one of them do you think you are very weak in? You're the weakest in, right? So The one you consider the highest is more like is your value engine. Then the one you consider the weakest is your value leak, meaning that that is where there's a leak that comes from that point. So, for example, let's say you really identify the pain, but you can be easily replaced. That is a value leak. Or you identify the pain, people are coming to you, but they are not willing to pay. Then that is a value leak. That's a value, meaning that the willingness to pay is a leak, right? So think about it. People may be referring you, but are you able to identify the pain that they have? So think about it. Which one is your value engine and which one is your value leak, right? Think about it. Just ponder on that, ponder on that. And, so like I said, when we commence the live workshops, right, we'll be able to delve deeply into some of these concepts and you can have the design in your hand, like, yes, this is exactly what I am doing. So just hang around, pay attention. We'll communicate to you when we start. So let's look at your core offer refinement. I want to believe we're making sense. If you're making sense, put it in the comments. Yeah, this is making sense. This is making sense, right? Put it in the comment. This is making sense. I'm learning something. I'm learning something. This is making sense. So let's look at the core offer framework, right? A strong offer answers at least 5 questions. A strong offer answers at least 5 questions. And what are those questions? Who exactly is it for? Who exactly is it for? Number 2, what specific transformation does it deliver? Who exactly is it for? What specific transformation does it deliver? So you want to say, if you follow me, if you do the things that I do, if you buy my product, buy my service, this is where you are. This is where I'm going to take you. We have been saying this for a couple of months now, that if you continue listening to the Growth Factory, that you will be a billionaire in 10 years or less. You will be a billionaire in 10 years or less. We put the 10 years mark because we want people to think long term. The law of time perspective says that the longer you put into consideration when you take a decision, the more effective that decision will be. The longer you take into consideration, into perspective when you make a decision, the more effective that decision will be. So, what specific transformation does it deliver? When people follow you, use your product, use service, who are they becoming for being your customer? Who are they becoming? I can tell you for free that even if you stop and you just go back to all the things we have said for the past couple of weeks, I can guarantee you that you will start thinking like a billionaire. I can guarantee you that your mind will start recognizing billion-dollar opportunities. I can guarantee you. Why? Because we say it over and over and over and over again that this is a place where billionaires are made. You can look at yourself and say, well, I don't even feel like a billionaire yet. You don't have to feel it first. You say it first. If you keep saying it and you don't doubt it, you keep saying it, over time, all your muscles, your veins, your organs, every part of your body will begin to believe the vibration that is coming from your mouth that you are a billionaire. Just keep sending those signals, keep sending those waves. You don't have to see it yet. Just keep saying it over and over and over and over until the vibe that is coming out of your mouth begins to feed back into your mind. And then, boom, your mind begins to recognize billion-dollar opportunities, right? So, what specific transformation are you giving your customers? Whether you are selling a product or you are selling a service, you are offering a specific transformation. Let me give you an example. I read this book a couple of years ago, The Power of Habits. The Power of Habits. And the man used an illustration. He said um, that before now, when they make toothpaste, that toothpaste really don't have this menthol taste, this menthol taste that it has, you know, before now, right? But then they realize that when people brush their teeth, they don't feel like they have brushed. They don't feel like something has happened to them. So the makers of toothpaste now thought of something that, wait a minute, what if we create something that has maybe some feelings in the mouth, right? Such that when people put this toothpaste in their mouth, then they have a feel that, yes, I have done something, right? So voila, that's how the pepper, that peppery thing, that's how it came over. And then the research brought the thing, introduced it, and boom, the toothpaste industry just killed. There's one particular company, I don't want to sell them now. I think it's Pepsodent or so, who actually started that move. And then when their sales scaled, then other companies also began to to align, with what Pepsodent did. That Pepsodent, that's actually where the name came from, right? So there is a transformation people are looking for. There is a feeling they are looking for after encountering you. Are you able to deliver that feeling? Remember what I said earlier. People don't buy out of logic, they buy out of feeling. And transformation is first a feeling before it is a reality. It's first a feeling before it's a reality. You must feel like a billionaire before you actually begin to make millions, before you begin to mint millions, right? So how quickly how quickly are you able to deliver your transformation? How quickly? When you use the toothpaste, in seconds, the peppery thing covers your mouth. You know immediately, I have brushed. You tell yourself, yes, I have brushed my teeth. Why? Because you can feel that, peppery thing. So how quickly? Then number four, with what measurable outcome? How do you measure outcome? You must be able to tell yourself and be able to communicate to your client that these are the outcomes you will get when you encounter us, when you work with us, when you buy us. These are the things that you are expected to see. These are the things you're expected to see. What measurable outcome? And why is it different? Why is your own offer different from every other person offering the same product, the same service? How is your own offer? Now, if you understand this, your offer framework, then this becomes the story you are telling. So if you are thinking of how do I tell a story around my brand, around my product, around my service, take your time and study this core offer framework. Who exactly are you targeting? Like I was using the example of insurance the other time. If you are selling life insurance to 20-year-olds, I can guarantee you are likely wasting your time. The guys who are already thinking that they are close to the departure lounge of life, people in their 50s and 60s, they will buy more. Trust me, they will buy more. So, who exactly is it for? What specific transformation does it deliver? How quickly? With what measurable outcome? And why are you different? Why are you different from every other person? Right? So, when you bundle too much into your story, people are confused. They don't know what exactly to hold on to. And once you communicate confusion, you also communicate rejection. Once you communicate confusion, you are also communicating rejection. People will abandon you naturally because people want something that is easy to understand, easy to use. They just want their life easy. That's why IKEA, this this furniture company is selling massive. People don't want the complexity of getting somebody to come and assemble things for them and charge them premium, right? So what IKEA has done is to simplify the furniture and then give you your installation manual step by step. So you go home and you put 1, 2, 3, 4 step by step. You do the installation all by yourself. That's what we're talking about. So you have to know what makes you different. What makes you different? I will tell you, if you're trying to do your description, make sure it's not more than maximum of 2 paragraphs, maximum 2 sentences. Keep refining it until it is simple enough for people to be able to understand. I hope somebody got that. So maybe you can do something like we help so person, right, to achieve so outcome. Remember, a measurable outcome within so time frame, without then the frustration. Without the frustration, what frustration do they have? So think about it. Just make it as simple as possible for everyone to be able to understand you and to be able to follow you, right? So I believe somebody is still getting value. I'm so glad you made it to this point. Wow. So how do you stack your proposition in such a way that it resonates with the people you are trying to reach out to? How do you stack your proposition? So you build it layer upon layer, layer upon layer. So the first layer is a functional value, the functional value, what it does, what your product or your service does for your customer. Number two, the emotional value, how it makes them feel. That feeling is very important. Remember, I said something, people don't make logical decisions, they make emotional decisions. How does it make them feel? How does your product or your service make them feel? If it makes them feel old, makes them feel like they are going to die, they will not buy. But if it makes them feel responsible, like if you don't buy life insurance now, you're going to leave all your children in a mess by the time you are gone. It makes them feel responsible, like, wow, I need to leave something for my children. Then they want to buy, how it makes them feel. Number three, economic value. How does it impact their finance? How does it impact their economic status? Everybody wants to become better. If you take this analgesic, you will be better on time and you can continue with your work. So there is no breakdown, there is no downtime. So people want to be sure that whatever you are selling to them aligns with their economic value. The number four, identity value. Who are they becoming by reason of their, by reason of they are engaging with your product or your service? Who are they becoming? So you don't stop at the functional level, you push it till you have the fall. If you're going to sell a premium product or a premium service, you must be able to inculcate this fall. What's the difference between a Toyota and a Porsche and a Bentley? What's the difference, right, between maybe a Honda and and a BMW? What's the difference, right? And a Mercedes, right? The difference is that Toyota is more of the functional and economic value. Anyone buying a Toyota, buying a Honda, is buying it mostly functional to move me from point A to point B. Function. Number two, economic value, because they don't want to spend a lot of money on vehicle maintenance. So this is very fuel efficient, right? So economic value. Those two things very critical. for the users. But for someone who wants to buy a Bentley, who wants to buy a Range Rover, for example, you already know that you are not buying it because you want to go from point A to point B. That's not what you are buying. What you are buying is emotional. It's how it makes you feel. I am a billionaire. It makes you feel very rich. Whenever you're driving it, it makes you feel very rich. And the economic value is that it opens you to new sets, because when you enter a place and you come out of a Range Rover, there's a way people look at you. And then there's the opportunity it creates, the financial impact. So people want to open up to you. They want to talk to you. They want to listen to you. Why? Because they feel like you are creating financial impact for them. An identity, how they see you, who you are becoming, right? How people perceive you. So it changes your identity. That is what people are buying. So if you are going to do, a premium product or a premium service, you need to understand this value proposition stack. Is also very critical. Like I said, we're not going to be able to break it all down. I really wish we could go down, give some examples and all of that, but we're going to be saving that for our our workshops, right? Which is somewhere around the corner, coming very, 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 very soon, right? So let me take a while break. All right. Okay, good, 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 good. So we have competitive advantage constraints. Competitive advantage constraints. Now, what we are trying to say here is that uh, you need to be able to sell to your customers why you cannot be replaced. Remember, we talked about the replacement test. Now, this is an offshoot of the replacement test, right? Why can't you be replaced? Why should you not be replaced? Now, for us at the growth factory, it's going to be very difficult for us to be replaced because there are very few people who would break down, boardroom strategies for you in a way that something that you should actually pay premium for, and give you these things for free, with the slides and everything for you to see this is what we're doing here. So we know we're not going to be easily replaceable, because anybody coming out to do all of these things, they're really going to do a lot of work. And it takes somebody who is dedicated to study, to teaching, to diligence, to be able to do stuff like this. I'm telling you, right? So that's part of our own, competitive advantage, and why you should be a part of the growth factory. I'm telling you, because the solutions that are coming are going to be very massive, and you will want to take advantage of them. So we want to look at your proprietary process. What's your process like, right? What makes you different from other people? Your process is unique because your process tells us a bit about you, about your person, about who you are. So your process is very, very proprietary, is unique. If you can look at your process, tweak it a bit, you can actually sell it, you can trademark it, and that makes you different. Have you observed that a lot of cola drinks try to imitate Coke, but none of them taste exactly like Coke? Why? Because Coke has a proprietary process. They have a proprietary process. It's just known to them, right? So, number two, speed. How fast do you deliver results? Very critical. How fast do you deliver results? That is an advantage that you can leverage on. Number three, data. What data do you have access to? If you have access to data that your competitors don't have access to, it's a massive leverage for you. Number four, distribution. How are you able to distribute your goods, distribute your services in such a way that people can easily, have access to what you are offering? Your distribution is very important. And then your brand authority. How do you build yourself in such a way that people see you as a go-to person? They see you as a go-to person in your industry, in your community, in your uh, um, um, in what you do in your company, your organization. They see you as a go-to person. How do you build your brand authority? The more you invest in your brand, the more you invest in pushing out the things that makes you different. Trust me, those are the things that give you that competitive advantage. Nobody can do it exactly like you. And you must be able to find those things that make you different and project them as much as possible because they give you that advantage over um over the competition, over every other person that could have been the alternative that people have, right? So think about it. Which of these do you truly own? Do you own a process that makes you unique from other people offering the same service? Do you have speed? Now, talking about speed, something happened to me earlier this year, right? So I had to register a new company, right? So then I wanted to open an account. I saw this app, one of the you know I don't want to mention their name. I'm advertising for them, right? It is so I just uploaded my document, and in 24 hours, somebody, in fact, in less than 24 hours, somebody called me. They gave me an account officer, and then the guy did all the uploading, did all the KYC, and my account was ready. So I wanted to open an account with another bank, what we call in our part of the world, the traditional banks, right? So those are the banks that, have, um, you know, um, have been in existence for a while, And I was talking to an account officer, who incidentally is my friend who works in one of the banks. And this guy sent me 125-page document. I was dazed. I said, what? In this age and time, I want to open a bank account. Somebody is still sending me a very big booklet like this. I'll be feeling. I said, man, I don't have time. I've not opened that account today. Right. The one I opened, online easy. It just makes life easy. That speed is very, very critical, very important. How easy can people access your product, access your service? How easy it is for them? It's very critical, very critical. And it's also based on how you deal with data. If people are actually processing data. Now, I know how tough it is for people working in the banking sector because they are regulated by CBN. But many of the processes they put in place, many of those processes have been put in place before technology became this accessible, right? So people had to walk into the bank to be able to do a lot of stuff, and they have maintained the status quo for a very long time. That means they are not paying attention to data. How many people still walk into the banks today? How many? I can't remember the last time I did. How? To do what exactly? How many? Right. So if they are paying attention to data, they should have, refined this process, review the process, and make it a lot easier for people, to come on board. Right. So it's just the same thing we're talking about. Right. I remember one of those banks, I was trying to open a stock account, and the thing was just annoying. And there was this app I downloaded not quite long, and I just opened the app. I said, I even have this one. And in seconds, I was able to trade. I said, what now? Why would these people keep making life difficult for themselves? Why? So what makes you different from every other person? What makes you different? If you don't have something that makes you different, I'm telling you, you are just doing what is convenient. You're not doing what will give you leverage in the long run. So think about that. Think about that. So we're going to close with this for tonight, right? We're going to close with this for tonight. And that is your offer ladder. All right, Itato, I want to know if you have been enjoying this. Remember, subscribe and catch up with all the other sessions we've had on the Growth Factory. Subscribe to the channel, very critical. Subscribe, share with your friends if this is making sense to you. Why don't keep it to yourself, right? Don't give it to yourself. Just share, let others also enjoy what you're learning, right? Good. So let's talk about the offer ladder structure. There are at least 4 levels you need to pay attention to when you are defining an offer or designing an offer. The first one is the entry offer, which is low friction. For you to be on the Growth Factory, this is entry offer. For you to be watching this video on YouTube, it is entry offer, low friction. Nobody is asking you for anything. It's just for you to sit down and enjoy its entry offer. So then we move from there to the core offer, where we then go deep into helping people to achieve deep transformation. Remember, I said that after a while, we're going to open this off to workshops. I'm saying it now so that you get used to it, so that by the time we call for it, it's going to be new to you again, right? So it comes a time where we begin the core offers, and then that time you are looking at main transformation. This is not just you getting information, but and holding you through the entire process, designing with you what you need to make your life, your business, and your endeavors better, easier, faster, right? More reliable, right? So that is a core offer. So what is the entry offer you can give for people to even experience what you can deliver? Very critical. Then once you have that, then what is the core offer? You make an offer which is something that gives deeper level of of transformation. And then there's the premium offer. The premium offer is something that is, of course, higher than core, but it's more personal. The premium offer is more personal. It's more one-on-one. It's more you walking people through. So you see, sometimes some coaches will have what they call the mastermind group. It is core, critical. It is just a few set of people working together to ensure that these people are growing, they are moving, in such a manner that helps them to be able to deliver results at a certain level, right? So the communication is higher, the depth of what they are getting is more a way deeper than what you have in a core offer. A core offer can be a book, it can be a course, it can be a workshop, right? But a premium offer is deeper, it's one-on-one, it's a mastermind, it involves a lot, right? It's a premium offer. And then you now want to scale to the enterprise level, where you now create solutions that people can leverage, that people can come, can be a part of. So you want to think of, how do I build a system? How do I build a business? How do I build something that anyone from all over the world, when you're thinking of enterprise offer, you are thinking of globalization. Enterprise offer, Facebook, enterprise offer, Microsoft is enterprise. They have now, one of the things that makes Microsoft different from quite a number of softwares is the fact that they have massive enterprise offers. They have a lot of their softwares are so their strength is their ability to monetize their product, to monetize what their software, which is very critical. And that is the enterprise we're talking about. Scale level solutions that people can access all over the world, right? So that is an enterprise offer. So think about it. How do you bring people in? How do you move them to take the smallest, level of commitment, small level commitment, and then how do you take them to premium offers, where it's deeper, the transformation is more real, and then enterprise offers. where it becomes a business level. At the enterprise offer level, it doesn't require your everyday contribution anymore. It is now you creating a system that ensures that whether you are there or not, you are always delivering value. So think about it, think about it. And like I said, we are going to to unpack these things very soon, especially this particular module, because it forms the basis for everything you're going to do as a business person. It's very critical. It's very, very critical. As your value compounds, your revenue also compounds. So look at the value. As your value compounds, your revenue also compounds. So you need to understand this structure: entry, core, premium, enterprise, right? Oh boy, I think we've done an hour already. So we are going to close on that. So let me just take my last thought for the day. So marketing amplifies value. Marketing does not create value. Let me say that again. Marketing amplifies value. Marketing does not create value. If your value is weak, you require a lot of persuasion. But if your value is strong, you create gravity. You create a pull. If your value engine is strong, revenue compounds naturally. If your value engine is strong, revenue compounds naturally. Wow. So it's been a whole lot of thought here. So all right, let's take one or two contributions. Right, right. Let me take one or two thoughts, questions. Yeah, before we call it a wrap. Any thoughts, any question, what was the one thing for you? Remember, I always like to ask a question. What's the one thing you're getting out of this conversation tonight? Or maybe just a striking thought, something for you to further develop, further ponder on, So somebody wants to share with us tonight, right? What a takeaway for you from our conversation tonight, right? So anybody wants to share that with us. What's a takeaway for you? A takeaway, a takeaway, takeaway. Right. Who is going for us? Anybody? All right. So
Yes,
all right, please go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
thank you for the opportunity and that what you do and the effort you put into all this.
Yeah.
For me, Viking thought is yeah, the need to create enterprise level products, which is
Mhm.
that level of product that requires less engagement from you, but still delivers the revenue and profit level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for people who sell products, yes, it could be easy, but for people who sell services, it could be quite more difficult because most time when
Okay.
you start service from enterprise level might be quite difficult, but you have to start from the base. I think I've realized that a lot of people find it difficult to abandon their existing customers in the name of upgrade. Like, sometimes when we want to introduce enterprise, what if we are not able to um, manage let's say
The
the
transition.
level, yes, the transition. So maybe if you need to, uh, I know there are companies which, for instance, they have, let's take a spa, for instance. You have a spa in, um, let's take Abule Egba, for instance. The
Okay.
way you are going to charge and cost will be different. If you have to move that same spa, but if you want to do enterprise level, you might not be able to. Are you going to be able to do it in such area, or you have to look at going to places like Ikoyi, GRA, Ikeja, where you know that the vicinity attracts the people who are going to truly be able to pay the worth of that value, rather than being an environment where you will actually struggle to have the customers to actually come up to that enterprise level pricing.
Okay, so if I got you right, you're talking about the fact that for service companies, it might be difficult to create the enterprise level, right? Because then you cited some example about location and the kind of business, right? So while that may be true to an extent, but I would say this, remember that before we moved into um, before we moved into the ladder structure, we first talked about um, the core offer refinement, and we also talked about the product market test, right? So, because all of these things work hand in hand, right? You need to test your product, your market to be sure there's a fit. So, whoever is opening a spa in a low income environment like Abulegba should have their strategy, right? Are you targeting the low income people living in the low income environment or the high income people living in a low income environment? Now, not everybody living in a low income environment are actually low income people for many reasons. So one must be able to find out who are you targeting, so then that tells you what you are going to do and the stories you are going to tell to bring people to attend, to become your client. Very critical. Now, so when we talk about enterprise offer, right, when it's about to scale, let's use a brand that understands this enterprise offer and has scaled very well. I will use iFitness. Everybody does gyms, right? But iFitness came up with a powerful model that you are everywhere, creating leverage. And because of the popularity and the fact that there is brand awareness, remember we talked about brand awareness, brand authority, sources of advantage, right? So what makes iFitness different from every other gym in quotes? Their process, the speed, they deal with data. They see that people want to gym, right? The distribution channels, right? They have outlets everywhere. And the brand authority, you see them investing a lot in their brand. So these are sources of advantage, right? So the same way a spa can also leverage on that. So is massage a felt need by most Nigerians? We're in Nigeria, right? I know this is a global platform, but, but how many people really see getting a spa as a need, as a pain they need to get out of their body, right? So that tells you who you are reaching out to. The people who need a spa, in my opinion, I may be wrong, but the people who mostly go for spas are people who are comfortable. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Am I correct? There are people who are a bit comfortable, who make good earnings, right? Who have you know, uh, so those are the people that you see saying, "Oh, I need somewhere to help me massage my back, massage my legs." So when you see people like that, then you want to ask yourself, where are they concentrated? Where do they stay? They want to be in their midst. So if you're going to open a spine leg, but I don't know how much money that person is going to make. That person will. I'm not cursing the person, right? But you can't be a billionaire in that kind of environment. You may make some money to meet your basic needs. But when we talk about scaling massively, right, that person cannot be a billionaire. That's just the way it is. That's my opinion, right?
So
That's just my opinion. Yeah.
the reason I'm asking was, many people don't. When people start from a place, and then when the need comes for them to scale, to now have that massive scale, the place they have started with, let's say somebody might have a successful one at Abliegba, who now have the young girls in the area, they're doing spa, like even high income in the low income area, they've already become
The
familiar,
customer.
I'll be,
Yeah.
yes, loyal. You know, when you have to scale massively and you have to adjust, that means you might necessarily have to adjust the quality, a lot of things. You would end up cutting. Won't those people be disgruntled?
So
And
so 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 let me share a principle I learned recently. I've known it for quite a while, but it just made sense to me very recently, right? And once I say it now, you will know it too. It's called the 80/20 principle, right? Which you also already know. So
yeah,
saying
no.
that 20% of your customers bring you 80% of your revenue, right? So those 80% that are paying peanuts, if you want to be sincere with yourself, you don't need them. You can do without them. So if you have, let's assume that your revenue annually is, let's say 100 million annually. And out of that 100 million, 20% of your customers give you 80 million naira. 20% of your customers give you 80 million naira. Then the remaining 80% contribute only 20 million naira. It is common sense to rebrand yourself, reposition yourself to attract more of the people in the 20% bracket. If you refine yourself to attract more people in that 20% bracket, those 80% that are bringing only 20 million will go. But what it will do for you over 2 or 3 years is that you will now increase that 20% to about 40%. And what does that mean? That means in the space of 2 years, you'll be earning between 160 to 200 million from those quality clients. It's one of the things some of us don't like to do. You don't like to lose people. But I'm telling you, if you're going to grow, if you're going to scale, there are people that will drop off. It is what it is. It is just what it is. You can't satisfy everybody. Those people will recalibrate and go and meet another person who is willing to take them as their own 20%. But as you grow, you also want your clients to grow with you. It is what it is, right? So once business people begin to think like that, then there's no emotion about it. I have scaled beyond this level, and these are the kind of people I want to be dealing with now. I would rather spend my time dealing with 20% of people who give me 80 million naira than spending than 80% of they are more, they give you more problem, more headache, more issues, more wahala, but then what you get out of all of that stress is less compared to the people who pay you more. So I think that principle really explains that. So if the person really wants to scale, then just put emotions aside and just go all out, and at that point you can be talking about leverage, creating outlets. So that time you have enough resources, you strengthen your brand. So as you're doing that, investing in your brand equity, you are also attracting more quality clients to yourself, right? So that's what I believe, right? I
So
hope it
are
makes
we
sense.
can we also confirm, like, I know we've mentioned something like we when we initially started, for clarity, like as we prune process, cut away processes that will not work, objectives that will not work. We could also say we can apply same principle to customer base,
Of course,
whereby
yes.
looking at to prune customer base that would need to that might be, should they say, hindrance, or not necessarily need to follow ones to the next level of skill.
So definitely yes. So what a business can then do, if you want to retain them, you can create another business, right? So you have a business. I'm trying to look for a brand that uses Toyota and Lexus, for example, right? So
Okay.
yes, I love you guys. You are the low income guys. Fine. Toyota, good. Oh yeah, stay with them.
Good.
But then they created a higher version of a car, the same company, and then they branded it Lexus, the same company using the same resources. One is for high class people, one is for, in quotes, low class people. People can do that. You create options. So
I think even Techno and Infinix actually
yeah,
also shared that story, because I
yeah,
think at
there
the
are
point
quite a
Infinix
lot.
was
Under an Acura, the
had
same
that.
thing. Under an Acura, Three Crowns and Peak Milk. So there are quite a lot of organizations like that who create options. So if one can create a system to keep servicing those people, so employ new employees to be servicing them, while you then focus more on that 20% that gives you that high value. So you can create a separate section altogether. And you say, if you are in this, even if you use HMO in your business, you realize that there are tiers in HMOs. So there are some levels of care you cannot access at a particular level. So it is what it is. There are levels everywhere. It's because you want to focus more on the 20% that can give you real value for your money. So I think that sort is right. I hope it makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think that makes sense. I think that approach, yes, it does. That I think looking at that opportunity to say, okay, it's now time to, like, a cell will break out and say, okay, and now it's time to make a business to handle this profile of customers, and this business can cater to this um new high-end or customers. I think it makes sense. It's been a I think it's been a strategy that has worked for a lot
Yeah,
of companies. Thank
yeah,
you, sir.
yeah, yeah. So very critical. We just have to keep tweaking and tweaking our strategy until we find what works. And once we find what works, boom, we just stay with it, right? So thank you so much for engaging. I like that part of the conversation. Very critical, right? So I have a free book for us, right? So this is a free ebook. It's on seller.com. Just go to seller.com 835053, right? That's the link, seller.com/835053. I wrote this book, was it sometime last year, on helping people to thrive, through uncertainty. Sometimes you have to lead your company, lead your organization, lead your family through uncertainty. What are the things you need to know? How do you master self-mastery, visionary leadership? How do you deliver results that matter in a time of uncertainty? The book is free. So please go to seller.com/835053 and download your free copy of the book, Leading Through Uncertainty, right? And if you want to be a strategic family coach, you want to understand how it works, I want to encourage you, go to seller.com/UA56M555071, right? And get this. This is not free, actually, but it's going to make you a lot of money, trust me. So eventually you're going to be doing consulting, coaching people, but you need the right tools. This book is massive, right? And you have six strategic coaching sessions where you get to understand how to use the resource and the test to be able to help couples, right? Good. And the last one is, if you want to win the family game, you need to get the strategic marriage ebook, 12-week mentoring program for couples. So you are somebody who just want to do stuff all by yourself. You don't want, third party interferences, just you and your partner. This is a very good book. You have a lot of ideas on how to communicate, on how to build your family, how to resolve conflicts, interferences. It's massive. The result is the research work is massive. I built it around the framework that I use, which is a growth framework, and it's very, very critical for you to have access to such an amazing resource like this. So the link on how to access these things will all be displayed in in the description of the video. And say a big thank you to you all for being a part of the Growth Factory tonight. I want to encourage you to join the Growth Factory, bit.ly/100x_growth. Yes, if you want to 100x your growth, then you should join the Growth Factory. A lot of things are going to be springing up from next week. Trust me. Trust me when I say that, right? So remember to subscribe to YouTube at Boardroom NG. This is where we give you boardroom level advice on how to scale your business. I want to believe that you've gotten a lot from today, and a big thank you to you, and see you at the next episode. And more importantly, subscribe, and please check the past episodes. They're going to be very useful for you. I love you. I believe in you. I remain your billionaire coach. I'm Dele Ayobankole. Peace out.